What's going on, everyone? I hope you can all hear me as I'm getting here kind of set up for another stream. So today we are doing something a little bit different. We are going from Miami to Key West. We're gonna do this flight IFR. I've already checked. There is no air traffic controllers. So for the most part, we're gonna be doing a lot of the, a little bit of the VFR flying. I'm gonna take it down the coast. I am using live weather, so I'm gonna try to stay away from all those clouds. You see, there's something kind of pulling up at the end of the runway here. So, and we should be taking off to the east, so we should be clear of that as long as we hurry up a little bit. I'm not sure if we can see. Yeah, I can kind of see it at the end, but we'll see that a little bit better as we start taxiing. So, and then what we'll do is we just go ahead and run down the coast out to Manatee, and then straight to Key West. I'm gonna go ahead and check to make sure there's no air traffic controllers. For the most part, the airplane has been fueled already. So I will kind of skip some of that stuff. The flight plan is so easy that I don't even have to worry about taking the time to taking the time to set it up and all that stuff. So let me just come here. One thing I forgot to do is I'm not sure if this is being actually streamed in YouTube. So let me just make sure that it's all public. A lot of the stuff gets set to on the listing. So I'm not sure if this is... Well, the good news is audio does work. So let me go here real quick. But yeah, so there's no air traffic controllers out here. So let me just make sure that it is make public here in YouTube so everyone has a chance to also look at this live. So I'm going to be recording this video and posting it and all of that. Probably 0 edits, but the one thing I want to make sure is that you guys do know that it is live. So, and going public now, publish, perfect. It is going to be live, so I am going to be getting some questions from people. So that's why you probably see me talking a little bit random. So let me just make sure that everything here is set up like I want it. Perfect. All right, so without wasting any more time, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my nav lights, my beacon lights already. Throttle 4, mixture full rich. I'm going to turn on my fuel pump for about 5 seconds. Perfect. There we go. It's more like it. Now that I have all of that, throttle a little bit in. Again, we're going to try to keep my RPM as we're turning on at 1,000 RPM. We're going to go ahead and turn on. There we go. And you see everything is coming alive now. Good evening, Alex. Thank you for being here. Perfect. So right now we have, I would say close to about 43 gallons, something like that, of fuel.
Toss, system test okay.
We have way more than enough to get this flight going. So I'm gonna just set that up. Then I'm gonna put Manatee. And I'm gonna add Key QS. So nice whenever you have that touchscreen, it makes the biggest difference. Down here, I'll set that up as we're flying. I don't need to set that up right now, especially since I'm trying to kind of move quick. All right, perfect. I can see there's another airplane here. What's up, David? Good to see you, sir. All right, let me go ahead and check the METAR here for Miami. So we have winds variable at 3 knots, visibility is 10, we have few clouds at 2,300, then we have some scatter at 7,000, broken at flight level 250, temperature is 28, and that makes sense. And then altimeter is 2985. So let's go ahead and set that up. Now we're going to be flying about 4,000 feet. I don't want to be too high where we can't see anything, but then also we're going to probably struggle a little bit with those clouds, so we'll see. We'll see how that changes as we get there. One last final check, make sure that ATC is not online. And whenever we're ready, we're just going to taxi out just straight ahead. We're a signature in the general aviation ramp, so it's going to be somewhat of a short taxi. All right, so let's go ahead and set up Unicom and get going. Since we are IFR today, flaps down. And Miami traffic, Cessna 172 Victor Sierra taxiing, runway 08 left via Kilo. That's for Miami traffic. If anybody's watching this thing live, if you can give me a radio check, just tell me how you can hear me over the engine noise and all that good stuff. That'd be great. I'll tell you a trick that I learned. I'm not sure from who it was. I think it was from, I'm sure there was from someone here at VATSTAR. Radio check. You can kind of hear your same background and just make sure that everything is working. As we go ahead and taxi down Kilo, you can see all those clouds that the radar was kind of showing a second ago. Thank you, John. Appreciate you checking in with that. Now the idea today, the flight plan today is we are going to take off, heading east. We're going to fly out to the coast. Thank you, David. And we are then just going to fly down the coast pretty much out to Manatee, and then from Manatee straight to Key West. As we get to about Manatee, we'll probably start checking the weather at Key West and see what's a better runway. Now, this is a small little Cessna. We don't need to taxi all the way, to the end, but we're just doing it just for the entertainment of. This thing can take off very, very quick. By the way, my settings, I'm using Microsoft Flight Simulator. My settings are pretty high up there. I think it's second from the last. This is the scenery I downloaded from Miami straight out of the marketplace in the Microsoft Flight Simulator store. And you can see all the weather and all that stuff I'm running right now. It says between 18 and 25 frames. As soon as we take off, it's gonna go up to about 30, but I'll keep checking. So let's just look at TCAS, make sure nobody's coming in. Don't look like it. And let's go for it. Miami traffic, Cessna 172, Victor Sierra, departing runway 08 left, 08 left, straight out. Strobe lights, taxi, landing lights, all that good stuff, and we'll get out of here. Now my frames, you can kind of see it dropped a little bit to about 16, then back up to 18, 19, back up. All right, we're gonna wait till about 55 knots, and we're gonna start going up. It's 55. There we go. It's already showing a tailwind of 7 knots, even though the meter was showing 3 knots. But it's all right. Still, winds are calm, or kind of calm. I'm gonna keep my descent, my climb rate to about 700-800 feet. Now that we're 400 feet, flaps are up. Frames are still kind of hanging in there around the low 20s, but it looks beautiful. I'm using the Google Maps plugin, and it makes this whole thing here nicer. There's my 1,000 feet. A single person taxiing to the one, but it seems like someone was taking off. Yeah. That's how important it is to communicate in VATSTAR, right? Okay. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and stick to 4,000 feet for now. I'm going to set that up. See my foreflight, you can kind of see where I am. I'm trying to stay away from there's clouds, there's stuff going on to my left. Right at the end of the runway there's all things happening. So I'm gonna stick to that, and then I'm gonna go ahead, once I get out here to pass this building past Miami downtown, then I'm gonna go ahead and start making my right turn right down the coast. Alright, this is one of my most favorite routes that I've ever taken. Flying from Miami to Key West is very beautiful. It's a bucket list item to do in real life for sure. Just do a flight from Miami to Key West on an actual Cessna or something like that. What are you at, Brookman? You South Florida? That's the Miami Arena Stadium right there. Beautiful stadium. I can make my right turn. There's somebody T-gas right now. Key Largo. That's beautiful. I'm in Central Florida in Orlando. Thank you, Dave. It's only my second time that I have agreed to do this thing, or I have decided to do this thing. The first time was for the thank you flight, which is insane. If you haven't watched that video, it's on the YouTube page. It's 3,000. I thought that was 4,000. But that was the first time I did it. I kind of like how it turned out. I like how, yeah, it's crazy hot. But what's the temperature right now in Orlando? Well, anyway, so did that flight, came out so good. I liked it. I have fun making the stream. So I decided to do one more of these things and just see how people like it, how I like it, most importantly. And hopefully I can show some things and do a couple more streams and focus more on the teaching more side of things. Even though I'm not an instructor, I don't tell people I'm an instructor. So what I'm showing you is what I know. What I'm showing on these videos is what I know, a little bit of it. But it's just pretty much how I get around. But I'm gonna try to focus more on the traffic patterns, doing different little things, IFR, VFR flights, international. I'm gonna try to get on times where ATC is online. I know that I try to fly more like on the early afternoon, or the afternoon times between 12 and 6 Eastern. Yeah, so y'all see that big old cloud in front of me? I'm gonna show you. Looking at on the radar, and the 530 is also showing it. So it's not just in the app, on the ForeFlight app, but it's also on the flight simulator. So I'm probably gonna try to get away from all of that, and I'm gonna stop by this. I'm already at 4,000. So flight time, we should be at around an hour from now. So it should be about an hour before we get to Key West. Hopefully there's not a lot of things that we have to do because of these clouds here. But and regarding your hot comment, I just checked it out a second ago. It was 74 degrees here a second ago. But tomorrow's supposed to be cold. Cold night, colder. It's supposed to be low 50s and highs is 66. So yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and set up my stuff here. This thing just went to 1,000 feet per minute. Percent. So right now, the winds that we're getting. I just this thing is not connected, so I'll show you here in a second what I'm looking at. But right now we're getting about 14 knot tailwind. Now the good news is you shouldn't have to be deviating a heck of a lot more. And again, I'm trying to get ForeFlight here showing. So you can see that talking about. Perfect. There we go. Yeah, so you see where we at. I'm not sure if I was showing you this as we were taking off, but those were the clouds when we were taking off to our left, and then behind us, and then that's what we have going on in front of us. Trying to fly around that, so yeah. You can see it's all kind of moving east. So as long as we stay away from that, let's see, we should be fine for the most part. It's not even showing on the flight simulator, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn back this way. That's just nice. That looks great. Straight ahead, right? Go ahead and finally finish setting up this whole mixture business. Get my ground speed up a little bit. Right now we're 7. Yeah, I can see on the flight time at the bottom, about 1 hour and 3, give or take. This is kind of cool. So we are off track here. So what I can do is I can go direct to press it again, Manatee, and it'll tell me I need to turn 10 degrees to my right, and I can just get back in track to go on Manatee. Once we get to Manatee, like it shows here, we're going to be flying on the, I'll tell you what, instead of flying on the right side of the islands, I'm going to be, or the keys, I'm going to be on the left side, so it can be seen, because I know on the left side of my screen I have all the stuff showing. So instead of flying on the inside, I'm going to be flying on the outside. And let's see what's going on here with this clouds. Those. Anybody else watching the stream live is from Florida by any chance? Yeah, I hope this thing doesn't mess us up. Back to my ETN. I'm still a little off track, so 3 degrees more. It's alright, it's not the worst thing. Changes. I get this question a lot, so I always like to make sure I also give the right people a shout out. The stuff that I'm using today is Real Sim Gear GTN 750, Real Sim Gear GNS 530. Those 2 items were donated to us to make videos like this, and I'm finally getting to it. But they were donated to us by them, so thank you, big time. The bottom pieces right here are Sim Max, the same thing, donated to us. I got the switch panel, and then I have all this little flap controls, throttle, mixture, cabin temperature, all that good stuff. The big things to highlight about Sim Max, because a lot of people see this and it looks cool right off the bat. The switch panel, it's very realistic looking. I mean, even this things right here, they work. They can be wired to work and all that good stuff. So that's pretty cool. The key is awesome. The switches, the avionics, and the batteries look amazing, feel amazing. So does the actual light switch, heater, fuel pump. The big things about this right here is, example, the mixture does not push in and out without you have to press this button. That's been fly through all of this craziness already. But you have to press this button before it can go in and out, so you don't by mistake, instead of pushing the throttle in and out, that you don't kill your power by mistake. So you do have to press that little button right there. But then what's even better is that you can actually turn these things to get a little bit more of a precise, a little more precision in the mixture control. What I like about the flap control, it does have an indicator right here on my left side. I know you guys cannot see it, but as I push that down, it will give me an actual indication which degree it's on. And this is kind of wired into the simulator, so even if there's some sort of fault on it, and say that I push my flaps down and there's an electrical issue with the flaps or something, the indicator will not work unless the flaps on the game are actually coming down and up or whatnot, right? As we go on through clouds. But hey, we are IFR, so we can fly through clouds today, just not storms. That's all. That is beautiful, though. Yeah, so that's what's awesome about it. You guys saw me kind of setting up the GTM 750. That just you having that touchscreen and hello Edward. You having the touchscreen, the knobs, and all of that, it makes your life a heck of a lot faster flying here. So as a prime example, I have this set up to just have my shortcuts as I want them. So like I can display traffic. I'm not sure if there's anybody around us. I'll show here. If you look at the thank you flight, you see how this thing is lit up with traffic. But then I can move on to even terrain. There's no mountains in Florida for the most part. But if there's antennas and things like that, they would also show up in here. You don't have to be looking at the map where there's so much information. You can just look straight at this. If you're flying through mountains or whatnot, it will make it a lot easier. Then I come here, and this would tell me information about ETA. So it shows 54 minutes. Love the clouds for sure. The clouds in Microsoft Flight Simulator are unbeatable. Yeah, so I can see that my ETA is in 54 minutes, and actually ForeFlight is saying 57, so we'll see who's right. Yeah. It actually shows me getting there at 5:01 p.m. I like to yeah, I mute Discord, so it's just the stream showing instead of people talking back at me and all of that. But yeah, there's a chat going on here. If you go to youtube.vatstar.com and just watch the actual live video, you will see the chat happening pretty much. But yeah, I'm not randomly talking to myself, even though, like I said, this thing will stay up on the YouTube website. So I'm sure people are going to be wondering who I was talking to. But yeah, so after that, I can come here and look at my fuel. I have 41 gallons of fuel running at about 10 gallons an hour. Some people will say that's a little high, but you know, it's free, so why not? And then I'm going to be getting to Key West with about 32 gallons. So I have more than enough fuel to go there, come back if I wanted to. So you see that's what I'm saying. I have everything here set up to how I like it. I can even put my times and nearest airports, all that good stuff. I can just come back and see that. And you know, I can also come here to my 530 and then just set up different things. So let's set up Key West. Yeah, so I have right now this, the 750 saying that we're going to Manatee, and then after that go into Key West. But then I can also have this one on the bottom just give me information about going straight to Key West, right? So like if I want to go straight to Key West, then I will turn to a heading of 246. Right now I'm at 213, and I'll be there in about 92 miles. So yeah, and it can even tell me also information about when and how it's showing. So I like the ability of having two different systems where I have the GTN and I have the GNS, because like I've stated before in my other stream, it gives me the option of having oh, nuclear something. Nuclear planets. You talking about out in Homestead? In the chat, someone is saying that you should be passing the nuclear power plant right about now out the right window. Not sure if the clouds lets you see it. But I will say, sad thing about streaming is that those chats sometimes I think that they come, or the stream is a little delayed to you. So that's why I'm wondering if it's the homesteads, some homestead plant or something. But see, it kind of just cleared up nice and beautiful now. Turkey Point nuclear plants. I'll check it out. By the way, if everyone, if for you guys watching the stream, I have a little QR code up top. You can just scan that with your phone, and it will tell you all the stuff that we have for you to watch the streams, whether it's Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, heck, even in Discord for those who are watching it in Discord. But it is called Turkey Point. It is in Homestead. And you know what? I might have just passed it actually. Yeah. If I'm right, which I'm not typically the one best person to start that, but if I'm right, that is A1A highway, right? A1A highway going straight all the way from, I don't even know where A1A starts. I mean, I know that there's an A1A probably starts in Jackson. I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you where it starts, but it goes all the way down to Key West, and that's the last stop out of Key West. Does anybody know, watching the stream, where A1A starts? If you do, let me know. Yeah, so we are pretty much, I know, right, David? I love flying with people, especially because people then can communicate and Unicom, and it's just a little bit more fun too. But yeah, about 19 nautical miles to Manatee, and then after that we'll go ahead and make a right turn. Like I said, I'm gonna stay on the left side of the Keys here, so we can have a little bit of a view as we're flying down. What is this, Marathon or something? Yeah, Marathon Forward. And that's another thing, right? I know that I have all my stuff here pretty set up with ForeFlight, but a lot of the information that ForeFlight gives me comes to charts and things like that, I can just look at them right here, you know. So then I can just then look at thing, and then so A1A begins in Fernandina Beach on the I don't know, St. Mary's River. It extends south 390 miles to Miami, but it does go past Miami. I mean, hold on, let me just confirm that that's A1A, or it's just no, it's not A1A. It's US 1. I had that wrong. So it's not A1A, but it's US 1. Yeah. Yeah, so it's US 1, not A1A. A1A is the ones that kind of like go off US 1. So I know that we have I think one in not in Key West, in Cocoa, and there's some other places. Yeah, the good thing about the charts here is that the airplane symbol would actually show up on here. Yeah, no, you're right, Edwin. All that stuff sounds about right. But your airplane will show up in here, so you can see all of that stuff. So preview the airport, procedures, tell you what they look like. I'm not gonna set all that stuff up. All the frequencies, whenever you're flying in VATSIM, that's gold right there. I mean, I'm always still checking what vPilot is showing, but I can just set it right from here. So if I wanted to talk to center, I'll put it on active standby, and boom, standby right there. Weather doesn't work. I know that I don't. There's some plugins for the weather to work, but because the software that I use for the GTN, it's using the trainer, it doesn't have any weather or notice. But there we go. We're about 14 miles from Manatee. I've been in Key West a couple of times. Personally, it is beautiful. There is a ferry you can take out of 4 Mile or something like that. It's a ferry you can take out of somewhere. What is this? Naples. No, it says. I couldn't tell you, but there is a ferry you can take, and me and Laura, we drove out to whatever that city is, and left our car there, took the ferry for the weekend, and had a little hotel room. Like I said, I think we went there on Friday and came back on Sunday, so it was a very short trip. We went there with just a couple backpacks, or a backpack each, and that was an awesome trip, because right from the minute we got there, we got off the ferry and we just went on a little trip, on just walking around the whole Key West, and that is a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff to do there. I always tell my family, you know, Key West is a pretty awesome, fun place to go, but it's really just about a 3-day trip. You know, after that, there's really not much more you can do. But that's my opinion. That's my opinion. There's other events, not events, kind of like parties and things like that you can do there. Like they just have, is that Imagination something? I'll find out. Oh, Fantasy Fest. Yeah. They have things like Fantasy Fest, and never been to it. Looks fun. It is from Fort Myers, the ferry. I love those airstrips that you can just park your airplane. right by your garage, right? Just take off and go wherever. Now, virtual pilot, are we talking about real life, man? Because you don't have to convince me to get on an airplane to fly to Key West. You don't have to convince me much. If we're talking about in real life, anytime. If we're talking about flying in Flight Simulator, just about any other time too. The thing is, we'd have to drive from Orlando out to Miami, and that's already a 3-hour trip. To then get on an airplane, that still beats it. From Miami, so it's about an hour flight. So flying, so that still beats it. I will say the ferry idea was a pretty good idea, because we just drove to Fort Myers and that was it. Once we got in that ferry, they have food, drinks. The only thing you don't have is much of a network. Do they have Wi-Fi? I don't know. But once you get on there, you already feel like you're on a vacation, you know? Another trip that Loud and I talk about all the time, and will be to go to the Bahamas from Miami. Yeah, we could depart just straight out of Sanford and go to Key West. That is true. Save us a lot of hours. It's just that gas money. But yeah, we want to go to the Bahamas, and we talked about on a boat or something. Just take a little from South Florida somewhere to Miami. I mean to the Bahamas. That'll be a cool little thing. But imagine doing it on an airplane. Like there's a ton of videos out there, and that's beautiful. Alright, so we're pulling up to Manatee, so in a second we'll start making the right turn. Yeah, so okay, so Dave, tell me something about the 182, right? So how does that work? You got to get signed off on an airplane. So like a 182 is not that much of a difference from a 172. I know it's a little bit faster and probably can take more of a load and of a payload and all that. But so how do you do that? You go to a school or someone, a CFI or someone that has a 182, and you just tell them, sign me off, and that's it? Like, is it just a one flight type of thing, or is it like a week type of thing? So start looking at this right here. Now, while we've been talking, these clouds right here have been pulling more toward our route. So I can already imagine that we might have to, hopefully we can skip it. Doesn't get there in time, or it just passes. Yep. That's in 5-minute increments, and technically what it's showing there that was 10 minutes ago, so that already moved a little bit more. Actually now just 5 minutes ago. The one thing, what's your house? Okay, so David is saying is considered a high performance higher than 200 horsepower, and where I fly out of, I have to do 10 hours with a CFI to ensure that I understand the aircraft. Gotcha, so it's 10 hours of flying on the 182. Okay. I can get my high performance endorsement, bigger planes than the 182. So it's not just for the 182, it's just you can start flying different airplanes, higher performance, not just the 182, just different stuff. Okay. I always wonder that, like, whenever you, like, I don't know, you have your license and you want to go buy a fucking jet or something, you know, before it, how does that work? And I know there's companies here that do, like, flight simulator, like, full-blown, like, you know, sit on it and do all kind of stuff. Flight simulator for you to get familiar with, like, the TPM and all of that stuff. But I've always wondered how does that work whenever you want to buy an airplane. So, like, you just buy it and they're like, okay, cool, you bought it, but you still can't fly it. You gotta either get a pilot or go get your endorsement for it. Yeah, so looking at Key West, and you know what, they just reconfirm we still don't have ATC. That's the one thing that I wish that Miami, but I mean, I know I'm flying kind of early, so I can't even blame them, but, and I can never get Miami to be on mine when I'm flying. And I love flying in Miami, or, yeah, Miami Arctic. So we see me here in the middle, flying to the west. Still no air traffic controller, so we just keep doing our thing. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that squeaky thing. Alright, so the weather at Key West is kind of tough, man. It's winds are 16 knots, gusting 25 knots. We still have good visibility. Clouds are few at 1,200, scattered at 2,000, broken at 6,500. Temperature is sitting at 25, and then the altimeter is 29. Right now, where we at, altimeter is sitting more like around 29 or 88, so let's fix that a little bit. You can see all those clouds coming. But anyway, so we know that the winds are 340, so best runway to use right away is runway 27. But which is all right. It's a quicker landing. We can just kind of just come straight into it. The only thing I wish is that we would do runway 9, so I can do a little pattern and show you the downtown area right there. At the end of the day, I have not yet flown a single time using Google Map plugin, so I still wanted to see what it looks like out there. By the way, those questions about getting signed off on a 182 and higher performance aircraft and all of that, those were like real life questions, not flight sim and stuff. You don't need that stuff in VATSTAR. But yeah. Okay, so let me show you the thing. Like I did promise, I'm gonna stay on the left side of the keys here, and you can still see right here, Highway A1, and it kind of goes, I believe, kind of like this, and it just keeps going. But it goes, I'm not sure if you can see my map, but it just goes like right there. It just follows the whole keys all the way down to Key West. I have taken a picture where it's zero, where it stops. It's like a 0 mile mark right by it, and it's pretty cool. You know, I cannot see who's people's name on the chat or any of that stuff, but I can. And pictures are kind of small. I can see David Randall. That's how massive. But who's virtual pilot? I can barely see your picture. I'm starting to make out the conversation you and David are having, so I can kind of imagine who you are already. But just give me a first name so I can just have a better idea of what's talking to. I can see David and virtual pilot already setting up flight lessons in real life, so I'm starting to get the picture. And I kind of dropped off for a second. Right now my frames are about on the mid 30s, so 34, 35, so all good stuff is going on. So let's go back to this. So we know we're landing at runway 7. I mean, not 7, 27. Look at the weather here. So for what it seems like, those clouds might be at around 1,000 feet. So I was trying to see if I can fly over them, but I'm not going to be under 1,000 feet. So stay up here. And you can see where that altimeter is being picked up at Marathon. Showing 2988. I'm gonna come here. Visual 127. Straight in. The big thing to worry about when you flying into Key West is this right here. It's a weather balloon. Yeah, it does. It does fly me. So the approach into Key West will probably put me. Let me take the weather off for a second. Where's that airport at? Oh, right here. The naval air station there. But because we should be able to just fly around it, so we're not going to fly through it, but not around it. Yeah, the big thing to fly whenever you fly into Key West is just be on the lookout for this weather balloon. It really does tell you you cannot fly. So you can see it. See that little circle there? So this is 14,000 feet. From ground to 14,000 feet, you cannot be in that area because of the balloon. So just keep in mind whenever you're flying into Key West, keep that in mind. You cannot fly up there. I just saw you posted that link on the lobby, Dave. Thank you so much. Take this off. You can see how the highway just kind of goes around there. So you have about 30 minutes until we get there, give or take. And I'm gonna go ahead and so 30 minutes should be good to make sure we set up. I used to live in New Orleans, and there is a base, a naval base off of New Orleans, not far south of it, and that was pretty cool, man. Because um, every time I used to work at the airport as well, so they would have F-16s parked in the FBOs there, and I'm not sure what they were doing, but they would park and then leave them there, and then come back the day after. And anytime that they would take off, it was just a whole show. It was never just taking off like a normal airplane. They would go all out and hover over the not hover, but fly right over the runway and then just up to 10,000 or whatever many feet up, in a second. So it's always awesome. I always enjoy being around some sort of Air Force base or something like that. Sadly, I think the closest one to me right now, if anyone here in Orlando can correct me on this, but it's the one in Melbourne, and that's well over an hour away. I'll tell you what, the benefit of living in Orlando, or pretty much anywhere in Central Florida almost, is that you can see rocket launches from your backyard. Whenever there's a rocket launch about to happen from SpaceX or something like that, especially at night, you can just come out, look up to the sky. At night is beautiful because you can see the whole fire go all the way out of space. And once in a while you can hear the sonic boom, which if you're not familiar with that sound, you always think that someone is shooting outside. And it's incredible. The first time I was that I heard it living in Florida when I just moved, it was like at 10 p.m. something like that, and I woke up like it's a shootout. And I got an app that tells me like the neighbors app. I'm not sure if you guys have it, but it would tell, like people make comments on there about, you guys hear that, and everybody was like, oh, it's just rocket launch. I'm like, what? So now anytime I hear it, I'm like, oh, rocket launches. Cool. If you've never been to one of those in person, I'm not going to tell you to travel just to go see one of those things, but if you're in Orlando, if you're visiting Orlando, always check out their website. They're always launching one, so for what it seems like to me. But go check that out. It's out of this world. It's amazing. It's super loud. It shakes the whole ground. Like you've never experienced anything like it for sure. There we go. So we are flying right about Marathon right there, and it should be kind of like a 1 o'clock right there. Yeah, so about 10 miles. So 1 o'clock. I'm pretty sure that's what we see there. Right off of the highway, so it should be somewhere. Oh, well, it just tells us it's 10 miles ahead of us, and I should have paid attention to this thing because it's telling me right here 9 miles. So no, we still have a bit of a way to go. My question is, should we fly over those clouds or under those clouds? Under those clouds is not an option. So it's through those clouds or over those clouds, technically. And the dog is here to visit. I don't know if you guys can see her. Let me see if I get back a little bit. Oh, there she is. I can see her now. No, don't shake. No shaking. It's a good girl for the most part. Just gonna stay here. pet her all day if I can. Alright, so off to the right, 2 o'clock, you can still see the bomb craters in the water where the B-17s would practice bombing runs back in the days. So you could actually see this still in real life? That's crazy. Wow, that's awesome. So next time if I'm driving keyless, I'm going to be keeping an eye out for that. Yeah, so 45 miles to go. And Brookman, you can tell us all the pinpoints you want, man, for sure. This is more fun. And now we can see Marathon right off to our right. Technically, I'm inside the airspace, so yeah, as long as there's nobody flying. Dog is whining back there for me to let her out. Let's see. I tell you what, give me a break. I'm gonna open the door for her, and I'll be back in 15 seconds. Keep this whole thing going, just you. Makes a heck of a lot more sense nowadays. So the whole time I figured it was him, it was just not clicking in for like a long minute. But thank God for autopilot, right? In real life or flight simulator. back and show you guys the tablet. So we can see that still have the storm or the cell or whatever you want to call it straight ahead, but then we have the one on our right, and I get lucky, just fly right through it. Or between. See, we're almost there. Still no ATC. For what I can see, might be the only aircraft in that whole area. So. I have to do these videos once in a while. And you know what? I also love that. That's my balloon that I keep talking about, that we need to make sure we stay away from that. So just remember that. Flying to Key West, stay away from that. Is anybody in here that is very good with... Oh, you done this flight in real life? Man, I was saying at the beginning, that's a bucket list item. Must do for sure. But anybody that is good with ForeFlight, is there a way to set up VNav on here? You know, let me know. Or if you know that there's not a way, let me know as well. Yeah, I remember James. I remember your username, that Plane Geek part. But I just wanted to, I don't want to be like, oh, this is so and so. Like, there's an Edward up there, and it could be me and Edward, or it could be the Edward we worked with for so long. Can't really specify, so I don't know. So yeah, if anybody in here knows VNav, oh my god, for the ForeFlight is $300. Yeah, I know. The GTN does it. So 3-degree rule to multiply ground speed by 5. Is that right? Well, yeah, but I get that. But what I like about VNav is that so the 3-degree rule, multiply ground speed by 5 and descend at that rate. Yeah, so like 500 feet per minute. That's what I like to descend at. The thing I like about VNav is it tells you when to start the descent. Oh, I see what you're saying. So it will descend 1,000 feet every 3 miles. 9 miles to go. So 500 feet a minute. So the whole conversation goes, wait, so what do you add? Is it, so multiply ground speed times 5, and that's your descent rate. So at 500 feet per minute, you will descend at 1,000 feet. You will descend 1,000 feet every 3 miles. You get that? So if we need to lose 10,000 feet, start 30 miles before target. That makes sense. It's a cool little trick I didn't know about. So I'm gonna try this theory, right? So at around, so let's just say that I want to be 3 miles before the airport, right? 3 miles before the airport. I want to be at 1,000 feet, right? So at around 12 miles, I'll start descending down to 1,000 feet at a 5,000 feet per minute rate. I mean, at a 500 feet per minute rate. And that will get me to about 1,000 feet, 3 miles. That's still pretty high. So let's just not do 12. Let's do what, 15? I'm trying to think in relations to distance. How far is 3 miles? Get her back. So let's say that you are cross FX at 5,000 feet, right? 10,000 feet, 120 ground speed. Multiply 120 times 5 equals 600. So if you were to descend at 600 feet per minute, you would start at least 18 miles from the target. Yeah, that makes sense. A pretty cool trick. But let's see if we get lucky. So I'm struggling to set this stuff up. There we go. I can set this up at 500 feet. And there's my top of descent. Okay. Well, good trick, because last time I was trying to do the flights, the thank you flight. When I was doing the thank you flight, I could not get VNAV to work for me. I'm sure I was doing something wrong. I'm sure there's a rule there on the GTN system that I'm just not getting. I get that. But, you know, for whatever reason, if I cannot figure it out, at least I know. And by the way, I'm actually flying through that little sail that we were talking about earlier as we speak right now. So yeah, I couldn't figure it out. At least I know there's a manual way, but always love that. Yeah, okay, so 100. And I'm actually gonna do something else. I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna turn on short. And boom, you guys can see that, right? No doubt about this. Let me get the doggy back in. I'm back in 1 second.
Destination ATIS is 119.675.
You guys got that 8 frequency for me? Still see on. No big deal. The balloon should actually be coming off to our right somewhere. Might just be to go out to this one. Let's see. Yeah, so, and we did make a change. Turn up the shorts here for a second. Yeah, so we're still flying south of the James said descending at 500 feet per minute, it would take from 4,000, it would take 7 to 9 miles to get there. Right now we're running at about 103 on the ground speed. And we're getting about a crosswind, 13 knots. Yeah, 119, right? That was the frequency. I heard it from the little moon. Always, if any of you here who is watching or who watches at some point wonder about flying this route, is extremely easy. Make sure you do it. I mean, it's the big thing, and I'm going to show you as we kind of get ready here really quickly. The big thing to remember is if you're departing off of Miami, but you can depart out of Opa-locka if you don't want to be talking to Miami and stuff. But the
Vertical
big thing,
track.
vertical track, 1 minute. But the big thing to remember is just stay off the class Bravo. You can just fly off out to the coast and a little bit more, and then fly out under, it says 3,000 feet, so you can be at 2,500. And as long as you stay way out here, or if you zoom in, you can see that if you're flying under 1,500 feet, so if you want to fly at 1,000 feet, you can stay flying between that little inlet or coast, whatever, between the Miami downtown and the beach. And it is it's a pretty easy flight plan, because all you got to do is just follow all those keys, and it will get you to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and start descending. I want to be late to the party. Actually, 9. And I'm gonna set up 1,500. Take this back off, and like I said, the big thing is just stay off that balloon. So I'm starting to descend now. I'm finding feet. Go back to this. Quite a bit. What that have to just changes. So let's see how this is going. Seven miles. Yes, sir. Right now we're getting about a 10-mile tailwind. That's why everything has changed so much. But yeah, right now we're showing. It's okay. Showing about 10 miles to Key West. As you can see on the GPS. Let's fix that a little bit. There we go. Make sure I push it in. All my stuff is on. My lights are on. And Key West traffic, Cessna 172 Victor Sierra. It's about 4 miles, 3 nautical miles from KC on a final for runway 27. Key West traffic. Sure to check 29er. So that's my altimeter. And that is the Air Force Base right there to my right. So in terms, Key West Airport should be visible very, very soon. I love how you can see the rain and all that good stuff in this flight simulator. There's nothing I hope more than explain do the same thing. So autopilot is off, and I'm flying this thing because I can see the airport now. I can see the airport, just not the runway itself, but that's alright. Keep my descent. So what just happened? Now I went from a tailwind to a crosswind of 16 knots from my right. It's crazy. Just talking good stuff about flights. Can that happen in real life though? James, David, Ayled, anybody here? Can that happen in real life? It just changes like a flip of a switch like that, or that's just flight simulator, right? Flaps down 10 degrees. Gotta do some corrections here, so it's a little off. No, so that doesn't happen in real life. That's just Microsoft Flight Simulator. Just that flips everything on you at the last possible minute. Huh? Right now I'm getting a little bit of a head kind of crosswind, about 15 knots. Okay, what's traffic says 72 Victor Sierra, short final runway 27. Okay,
1 mile final runway 27.
1 mile
500.
Mark. I have my flaps down to 20.
500.
US traffic, Delta 2412 is taxiing out of Delta onto Alpha runway 27, Key West.
And Key West traffic, Delta 2703 will be following company number 2, Key West, runway 27, Key West traffic.
Where's all these people come from? Oh, there's people behind me. That's awesome. I can see them on my butt kick landing this airplane was 15 knots. And it's just changed again. Yeah, 13. So it just got a little bit nicer. Thank you. Got more than one way. Ah, there we go. With traffic, Cessna 172 Victor Sierra, 27 on Charlie. That's the one thing I like about VR flying is that, or actually no cockpit, no VR, is that eyes are always forward. Let's get out of here. That was a beautiful flight. It was a rough landing, but not a hard landing, not a bad landing, honestly. Any landing in the runway is a good landing. I tend to be very good at putting it right in the center, but that was a nice little crosswind.
US traffic, Delta 2412, departing 27 Key West.
I don't see that. I mean, I see this guy in front of me, but I don't see nobody departing. Ah, never mind. Yeah, I see him in front. But it's always fun to land with a crosswind. And I'm not sure how realistic those wind changes are in Flight Simulator, but you know what, I'll take it. Well, we'll go ahead and taxi back here. I think we're going to what, Signature, onto my right. While we do that, I want to thank everyone who is watching this stream, who is going to watch this video, everyone who's answered questions and who's kept me entertained. Yeah, those wind shear changes. Yeah, with wind shear, I get that. But thank you to everyone who is here to kind of give me some entertainment while I'm doing this and talking to me and pointing out some cool stuff while I'm flying. And giving me some tips, lessons. To those who are going to watch it, thank you for doing so. And if you have any questions, make sure you put them in the comment. I'm very good at either answering them for you, and or if I don't know the answer, just making sure that I get it from one of our instructors, someone that will know a little bit better. But if you're in the market,
Key West traffic, Delta 2703 is taking runway 27, lining up and waiting for departing company.
if you are in the market for building up a cockpit or getting some instruments in your flight simulator, always check out Real Sim Gear if you want some GPS. So the G1000, they have some very nice systems. And check out SimMaxit if you're actually trying to go all out and get your cockpit for sure. But yeah, ask me questions next time that you see me. Put them on the comments. Next time I'm doing a stream, just ask me any questions you guys have when it comes to the stuff that I have, how to use them, how to mount, all that good stuff. I'm gonna keep doing these videos. I like them. I don't mind showing my rough landings or my good landings. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one, and thank you for joining me.